Sunlight bathed the vibrant farm. Milo, a baby monkey, drove his tractor slowly. He wore blue farmer overalls. His big, expressive eyes scanned crop rows. A proud smile touched his face. He waved to the grazing cows. Chickens clucked happily nearby. The world was bright and colorful. Gentle farm sounds filled the air. A distant rumble caught Milo's attention. He looked up, confused. Clouds began to gather quickly. Birds flew away in a panic. The wind picked up, rustling trees. Milo's cheerful expression faded. Worry creased his brow. Dark clouds rolled in ominously. A distant flash of lightning appeared. The idyllic farm scene changed. It became something more ominous. The calm was abruptly ending. A strong gust of wind hit the field. Milo instinctively grabbed his hat. Large raindrops began to fall. He quickly steered the tractor. Milo raced towards the barn. Rain poured down, obscuring his view. The farm road turned into thick mud. Tractor wheels struggled for grip. Visibility dropped dramatically. Another bright lightning flash. Milo's eyes widened with fear, but he gripped the wheel bravely. A large tree branch snapped. It fell directly in front of him. The tractor jolted, then stopped. Milo tried to restart the engine. It coughed, sputtered, then died. His worried face looked around. Rain hammered on the tractor roof. He called out for help, but no answer. A deafening thunderclap boomed. Milo hugged himself tightly. The storm raged at its peak. Wind howled through the fields. The tractor was stuck firmly. Milo felt small and alone. He peered through the streaked window. The world outside was a blurry mess. He hoped the storm would pass soon. His little heart pounded fast. He remembered his farm friends. They were safe in the barn. Milo took a deep, shaky breath. He knew he had to be strong. The tractor was his responsibility. He would find a way out. His determination flickered. He wiped rain from his face. The storm showed no mercy. Dark clouds swirled ominously overhead. Milo's worried face looked up at the sky. A strong gust of wind whipped his blue overalls. Rain began to pour down, heavy and cold. Milo scrambled quickly into his tractor's cab. He gripped the steering wheel tightly. The tractor lurched forward into the downpour. Mud splattered against the windshield. Visibility dropped to almost zero. Lightning flashed, illuminating the chaotic scene. Milo's small hands steered with determination. He was scared, but his bravery shone through. Another blinding flash of lightning. A massive tree branch crashed down ahead. The tractor screeched to a sudden halt. Milo was thrown forward, then back. He tried to restart the engine frantically. The engine coughed, then sputtered weakly. Rain hammered relentlessly on the cab roof. Thunder boomed, shaking the very ground. Milo hugged himself, shivering from cold and fear. He called out for help, a small, desperate cry. His voice was swallowed by the storm's fury. The wind howled a deafening, mournful sound. Milo felt completely alone and vulnerable. Water seeped into the tractor's interior. His fur was damp, his overalls soaked. Another loud crack of thunder overhead. Milo closed his eyes, wishing it would end. The tractor's engine remained stubbornly silent. He tried the ignition key again, no response. The storm showed no signs of relenting. Milo's breath fogged the cold window pane. He peered out into the blurry chaos. Trees swayed violently in the gale. Debris flew past in the wind's embrace. Milo felt a tear mix with the rain on his cheek. He was stranded, far from the farmhouse. The tractor was his only shelter now. He pulled his knees to his chest. His big expressive eyes were wide with fright. The storm's maximum fury raged on. Every boom of thunder made him jump, he whispered for his farm friends. But only the wind answered his plea. The night grew darker, the storm fiercer. Milo was a tiny speck against nature's wrath. He waited, hoping for the storm to pass. Slowly, the rain began to ease its intensity. The thunder became more distant, less frequent. Milo cautiously opened his eyes. Peering out, he saw the rain had reduced to a drizzle. The wind's angry roar softened to a sigh. Milo took a deep, shaky breath. He tried the ignition one last time. No luck. He knew he had to check the engine. Milo pushed open the heavy cab door. He stepped out into the muddy, wet field. The air was damp and smelled of earth. He walked to the front of the disabled tractor. The relentless rain began to subside. Slowly tapering off, Milo, soaked to the bone, shivered in the tractor seat. He tried the ignition again, a futile cough from the engine. A plume of steam billowed from under the hood. Milo's heart sank. The tractor was truly broken. He climbed out, his boots sinking into thick mud. One wheel was deeply embedded, stuck fast. Milo pushed with all his might, grunting with effort. The heavy machinery wouldn't budge an inch. A broken cable dangled loosely from the engine. He picked it up, examining the frayed wires. Milo fumbled for a tool in his wet overalls. His small fingers struggled with the cold metal. A wrench slipped from his grasp, splashing into a puddle. He stared at the tool, defeated, floating in the murky water. A deep sigh escaped his lips, heavy with disappointment. Milo sat dejectedly in the mud, his fur matted. His bright blue overalls were now caked in brown. The initial fear had given way to profound sadness. His spirit, usually so cheerful, was momentarily dampened. The wind, once howling, now whispered softly. A strange, faint creaking sound reached his ears. Milo's head snapped up, eyes wide with curiosity. He strained to hear over the lingering drips of rain. The sound came from the direction of the barn. Long, dancing shadows played near the barn's entrance. The large wooden door creaked again, slowly opening. Milo gasped, a tiny sound lost in the damp air. His eyes darted around, searching for cover. He quickly ducked behind his disabled tractor. His small body pressed against the cold, muddy tire. He peered cautiously around the edge of the wheel. A figure, indistinct in the dim light, moved inside. Milo's heart pounded a frantic rhythm. Someone, or something, was entering the farm. The barn door swung open wider, revealing more. He held his breath, barely daring to move. The shadows lengthened, stretching towards him. A new wave of apprehension washed over Milo. His sadness was replaced by a prickle of unease. He watched intently. Every muscle tensed. The figure moved with a stealthy, deliberate pace. Milo squinted, trying to make out details. The storm had brought more than just rain. His farm, usually so safe, felt vulnerable. He clutched a muddy leaf, his knuckles white. The creaking stopped. Silence descended once more. Milo remained hidden, observing the barn. Two shadowy figures, raccoons, emerged from the barn. They moved with exaggerated stealth, cartoonishly tiptoeing. Milo's eyes widened. They were heading for the storage shed. He watched them, a mix of fear and curiosity on his face. The raccoons whispered conspiratorially, their voices muffled. One raccoon tripped over its own feet, a comical tumble. Milo stifled a giggle, his surprise momentarily forgotten. The clumsy thieves quickly recovered, glancing around nervously. They reached the shed, beginning to pry open the door. Milo knew he had to act. His farm was in danger. A determined glint appeared in his big, expressive eyes. He began to formulate a brave, clever plan. Milo, hidden, watched the barn door creak open. A shadowy figure emerged. Then another. 2 silly raccoons, masked, tiptoed out. They wore striped shirts, carrying empty sacks. Milo's sadness vanished, replaced by resolve. The raccoons whispered conspiratorially. One tripped over a bucket, scattering tools. His partner shushed him, looking around nervously. Milo shook his head. A plan sparked. The raccoons reached the storage shed door. They fumbled with a rusty padlock. Milo crept closer, staying out of sight. He watched them pry open the shed. They began grabbing wrenches and hammers. One raccoon stuffed a rake into his sack. The other found a shiny new saw. Milo knew he had to act fast. The raccoons moved towards the farm truck. They tried to jimmy the truck door lock. Milo took a deep breath. Gathering courage, he let out a sharp, piercing whistle. The sound echoed across the damp farm. The raccoons froze, startled, dropping tools. They looked around wildly, eyes wide. Milo whistled again. A call for help. A distant moo answered from the pasture. Then a chorus of cluck, cluck, cluck from the coop. Headlights appeared on the farm road. The raccoons panicked, chattering nervously. Milo emerged from behind his tractor. He pointed a small, determined finger. The raccoons saw him, then the approaching lights. They dropped their sacks, scattering stolen items. One raccoon slipped in the mud, falling hard. His partner tried to pull him up. They scrambled, desperate to escape. The farm truck's engine roared closer. Milo's friends were coming to his aid. The raccoons fled towards the fence line. They tripped and stumbled in their haste. Milo watched them disappear into the darkness. The truck pulled up, headlights illuminating the scene. Farmer John, a kind old man, stepped out. His face showed concern, then relief. Milo ran to him, chattering excitedly. He pointed towards the raccoon's escape route. John surveyed the scattered tools. Understanding, he patted Milo's head. A proud smile. The cows and chickens arrived, making noise. Milo, the brave little monkey, saved the day. His farm friends gathered around him. The storm had passed, the danger gone. Milo felt warm, safe, and loved. The farm was secure once more. He looked at his broken tractor. John promised to fix it tomorrow. Milo's adventure ended. A hero's rest. The moon shone. Stars twinkled above. Peace returned to the quiet farm. Milo, tired but triumphant, headed home.